Hey guys, welcome back to another video where I'm rushing and trying to get this out as soon as possible and as quick as possible. And today's video is a video for Booktober. And in case you're new or you don't know what Booktober is this thing that I came up with, such genius, where I basically read a book each day, every day for the month of October that is befitting of October, in the sense that it's either like dark academia, a mystery, a thriller, horror, suspense, whatever, right? And so yeah, that's like something I'm doing every day, and at this point I'm giving it all to you in real time. So I mean, like, all of this, none of this is planned anymore. Like, from this point on, everything is just me rushing to get it all done and finished. So there's that. But today's Booktober book review is gonna be about a YA book, but like it's like a high school YA book, I guess. That's like also a murder mystery. It's called One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. And in case you're not aware of the book One of Us is Lying, One of Us is Lying is basically a book set in like high school, where there's this like, they're all in detention, but there's this, like, you know, the Breakfast Club, where you have these like high school stereotypes and stuff like that, like, oh my gosh, she's the loner, he's the jock, blah blah blah, right? And you just have these stereotypes, and like they're grouped together and spend time together, I guess, and they're just like, I would have never like talked to you or even met you if it weren't for this detention thing that we have going on together, blah blah, right? And they end up becoming the best of friends and connecting and whatnot, right? Well, it's kind of that, except in detention there's five, I believe, five of these people that are like of different like stereotypes, different archetypes. And in detention, while they're all there and stuff like that, there's this like sound, like alarm thing that goes off or something, like in the parking lot. I think it was like a car alarm or something. It goes off, and the person that's supposed to be looking out for them during detention like goes out, and he's like, you know, stay there, don't move, don't do anything, etc., right? And so they're there in detention for that bit without adult supervision, and the loner that everybody disliked, he is just, you know, talking to them, pissing them off, basically, like, ha ha ha, blah blah blah, right? As he's drinking his water or whatever, and he's like, yeah, whatever, you guys are like in here for this, blah blah blah, and all that. And then he drops dead all of a sudden. Like, he drops dead, and they're like, what the heck just happened? What did we just witness? And then like the adult dude comes back to the classroom, and he sees this guy dead, right? And he's like, what, who did this? Which one of y'all did this? Who did this? And they're like, we don't know, he just dropped dead in front of us. And they're like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would he just drop dead in front of you? The police are basically trying to find out if it was foul play, and since like nobody else was in the room except for those other four, they were kind of just like, who, like, did this person drop dead on their own, or was this like an actual thing that like they premeditated and made happen and stuff like that? And first off, from the get-go, I was kind of like, now I'm not sure how the forensics system works. I'm not sure how you're supposed to sweep for details or clues or whatever, but like, I would think like if I were to see a guy drop dead, my first immediate thought would be natural causes, me personally. They could have had a seizure. Maybe it's something that like he, like a disease or something that he was dealing with. Maybe it was anemia, and all, like, severe anemia if you like die from it like that. But maybe, who knows, he could have gotten sepsis along the way and stuff like that. But like, the thing is, like, they're immediately thinking like maybe one of them killed him, and I'm like, what does the toxicology report say? Like, what does it say? And it's like, it doesn't say that there was any particular poison in the... I was like, why would you first think about like not natural causes. Like, why would your first thought not be natural causes? What, because he was young? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, young people can die just as easily, or just as well. Not just as easily, but they could die just as well. Like, tragedy can strike unexpectedly. So it just takes one thing in your body's balancing act, in your body's little ballet of hormonal balance and I guess like systemic balance. Just one thing needs to be thrown off and the whole system shuts down. So it's just kind of like, it's just so short-sighted to not think about it in like terms of natural disasters, natural diseases or natural causes or anything like that. Like, how would you know? Like, and that's the thing about the forensics, I guess the forensic side of things that I'm not pretty sure about, because I'm like, so would you even be able to like tell if this person had a history of this type of disease or this type of immunodeficiency or something like that? Like, would you be able to tell in forensics? And I'm not sure if you would. So I'm just kind of like, maybe I'm being a bit too harsh by telling them like by getting on their case for ruling out natural causes, when natural causes is just as easily could have killed somebody that young. But okay, yeah, okay, they were like, yeah, no, somebody did this on purpose, and at some point they had found that I don't think in the water, but there were traces on the cup of peanut oil. And it was strange because the loner kid dude, the loner kid's name, what was his name? Okay, yeah, Simon. He's like known to be allergic to peanuts. So somebody was like, who put peanut oil on the cup? Like, who did this? And like all that, and like they're trying to like find out I guess things about each other. Like, they're like the Breakfast Club, except they're not the Breakfast Club in a way that like this ends wholesome or something like that, or that like, oh, we're just friends now and stuff. No, they're like, we're friends in times like in this time of like unprecedented suspicion towards us, I guess. Like, people are very like suspect about us and our motives, and they're trying to guess which one of us did it and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean that I'm ruling out you just because I relate to being a suspect together. And it's just wild to me, that aspect of like, we're friends but we're not friends. So in this Brady Bunch cast of characters, I should probably, well, now that you know Simon, the person who died, let's like actually go into who the other four are. So first off, I'm gonna start with Bronwyn. She is the stereotypical, straight A student. Goody two-shoes, doesn't like to break the rules. Oh my gosh, like, I don't like to go past curfew or nothing and stuff like that. I like to study. That's my thing. I love reading. Oh my gosh, like, reading is a passion, etc., etc. She's got glasses and everything, and there's her. A bit uptight about things. That's her. There's Addy. Addy, she is just a poor kid, honestly, but you'll find out later. But she is like one of those like popular girls, basically. She's very popular, she's very you know, she's very cool, blah blah. Like, she's blonde, she's got blonde hair, she's got like the perfect everything. She's got the perfect hair, perfect eyes, perfect boyfriend, perfect looks, whatever, right? She's got it all together. And there's Nate, who is a notorious delinquent. He's the bad boy of the group. He's even got like the sad dad backstory as well. So he's just like got the full package. And then there's Cooper Clay. I really liked his name, so I remembered it. But Cooper Clay, he's the fourth member. He is the athlete among the four of them. He's like the golden boy of the school, basically. But I love how he's like the golden boy, not in like a football sense, but rather in like a baseball sense. Like, he's like athletic in terms of baseball, and that's such a refreshing thing to see in high school, anything really, any media. It's just always football, and I guess like baseball is just kind of like, wow, that's something new to me. So that's the four of them, and they're I guess allies, not exactly friends. They still suspect each other. They're like, where were you? What were you doing? And stuff like that. And I guess I should just tell you Simon, what Simon is, who he was, aside from the guy who died. He was the type of person to get himself killed for sure, because there's a reason why all four of them had motive to kill him. And it's the fact that he is, y'all know Pretty Little Liars with like A, and she's like A is like, haha, like, here's your little dirty secret and stuff like that. Oh, that and Gossip Girl as well. Like, you know, like how she was like XO Gossip Girl as she was spilling out everybody else's secret, everybody else's business, like that. Like, he was both A and Gossip Girl. Like, he was that. Like, he had his own little blog thing where he would talk about everybody's secrets and stuff like that, and he would just like he claimed that he was reporting for like honest journalism and all that BS, but people knew that it was him. Like, it was notorious. I feel like that's just kind of where he went wrong, because of the fact that he wanted the limelight, though. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to expose people, but at the same time, I want people to know who's exposing them, you know? So people ended up, like, learning about the fact that, like, he would do these things and report these things back and stuff like that. So, like, nobody liked him after that. And of course, like, nobody wanted to be friends with him, because you never know when your secrets are gonna get back to a whole student body. And what's weird is the fact that, like, nobody liked him, right? So I'm like, so were there still people reading his stuff? Like, were there still people, like, actually listening to him? I'm like, no, right? Because, like, if you didn't like him, then you wouldn't listen. And, like, so what's the point? He died under very mysterious circumstances, and I just know he was eating up the detention from the great beyond. He was just kind of like, yes, oh my gosh, I'm the star of the show. I'm a star. So when I first went into this book, I went into this book with the expectations that this was going to be a mystery. And yeah, it's marketed as mystery, so it's not like I had, like, misguided expectations of what this book was about. It is marketed as a mystery. However, I didn't realize just how much it leaned on the high school aspect of a high school mystery. Like, it was so jarring to me, because there were some moments, like this whole book, there were moments where it was just kind of like they would, like, a character would have something like they're doing and stuff like that, and it had nothing to do with the mystery, nothing to do with finding out anything about anything. It was just kind of like, I mean, especially, like, with the romance between Bronwyn and, like, Nate, I was just kind of like, where are we going with this? Like, somebody died. I'm sorry. I know life finds a way to move on, and it's not like they had any emotional investments in the man. Not in particular, not really. But at the same time, I just feel like if you're both being suspect for murder, I feel like there should be at least one of y'all would be suspicious of the other, and being like, okay, but I haven't ruled you out completely either, so, like, why would I feel like, oh, if you were gonna go the romance route, because again, it's a whole, like, good girl bad boy type beat, like, good girl being Bronwyn, bad boy being Nate, obviously. If you were gonna go that route, then, like, I feel like there could have been a lot you could play with the whole, like, murder mystery whodunit type beat. Like, I feel like you could have the tension build up, you could have the tension there between them, but it's also, there's, like, other tension in the fact that they both think that the other did like kill off Simon, or had something to do with killing off Simon and stuff like that. Not like those couples that are like, no, but don't worry, I believe you. No, I know what type of person you are. No, I know you're a good person. I know this from the 2 weeks that we've been together. I know this. Like, I know you wouldn't have been able to do that. No. Yeah, no. You're not using me at all. Not to back up your alibi. No, nothing. And it could have been so interesting to have something like that, I guess. Like, something like that building into the plot, building into the the basic overall whodunitness, the, like, the way that the suspects themselves suspect each other. That would have been something very interesting to have played into a romance. Cause like, imagine you're catching feelings for someone and you're like, oh, but they may have actually killed this person. But at the same time, they're hot. Like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but they're hot. Like, look, I want to make that disclaimer out there. I don't hate romance. I just feel like we could have done it better here. I'm like, I know you could have churned out more. I know you could have churned out better. I just want to see better from now on. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's like reevaluate our game plan. Let's do something different with it. Let's have that. It's like enemies to lovers, but not exactly enemies, but more like you're both scared of each other, but you're hiding it with the facade of like you hating each other. You don't actually hate each other, but you're scared that the other person may be the worst person that you've ever met. Like, oh, but you're attracted to each other. Like, that could have been something, but it wasn't. Because it was mostly like what you would expect of those good girl, bad boy, like good girl meets bad boy tropes, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like him giving her a ride on his motorcycle and her being like, you know, riding on his motorcycle with him and him being like, you gotta live it up, girl. You gotta like, you gotta let loose, you know? And she's like, I'm sorry that like your background and your household is like terrible. And he's like, yeah, it is pretty terrible, huh? And all that. And I just feel like it took me out of the mystery, and that wasn't like a good thing. I feel like again, like, I came into this with the expectations that it was going to be a mystery, and it leaned so heavily on the high school that sometimes I was sitting there and I was like, what am I actually reading? Like, it's like the side plot is the mystery, and like the main plot is their high school drama, their high school dynamic, etc., etc. And I'm like, I'm done with high school. I don't want to read about high school. Like, this is not why I read it. And here's the thing. It's not just them. It's not just those two I have qualms about. There's also Addy. Poor Addy. Like, I love her. I love her because of the fact that, like, she goes through so much, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. The author hates you for some reason. Like, I'm so sorry. That's why I love her. I feel like I love her because of the fact that she's like an underdog, actually. Like, even though she's the popular girl, she's super abused by everybody on all fronts in a way because of the end of the mystery, the reveal at the end of the mystery. And I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't actually reveal like what spoil mysteries in booktober books. Like, if I'm reviewing a mystery during the month of booktober, then I'm not gonna actually spoil the mystery so that you could actually read it for yourself. But I will say, when I found out who did it, my disappointment was immense. The reason why it was so immense is also the fact that, like, it goes hand in hand with who did it and why they did it. Their motive sucked. Them sucked as a person. And I'm just like, dude, get him off my screen. Like, get him off. Because it was just so annoying. Like, why am I having to read a mystery about this murder when it all circles back to just like very mundane stuff? I feel like when it comes to mysteries, you gotta make it so that like the reveal, the truth of the matter is just so it would like shock you, and it's outlandish enough that it feels like okay, I guess it would justify you employing these methods and stuff like that. I guess it would justify you doing this and stuff like that. But it was just like one of those things where I guess like the motive behind it, the actual like person behind the mystery was just so plain, I guess. Like, as in like plain as in like it wasn't anything deep. It really wasn't anything deep. It wasn't anything to do with like building on like hidden resentment or like long held grudges or he knew too much. No, nothing. I let out a sigh when I read it. I was like, bro, you're lying. You're so lying. And poor Addy, she's kind of mixed up in all this and stuff like that. And so that's why I say that I like her, because of the fact that like she is an underdog, but like she does try to like get through it. She does try to pull herself through everything that she goes through, which is like power to her, because I know I would have been crying, been on my bed tearing up all over my pillows. But like, other than that, to be honest, other than the fact that like it's focused a lot on high school and like everything, the characters themselves, I know I said I liked Addy, but again, like Addy was more of a like by circumstance type of like. The rest of the characters really were cookie cutter. Like they really were like the embodiment of their archetypes. There was nothing different about them in that regard. There was nothing outside of their archetypes or anything. Like I was really going in thinking like, if we're gonna actually do something with like high school and we're gonna like stick to the fact that we're dragging, I guess, lingering on a little longer than I would have liked on these aspects of like high school drama, blah blah blah, right? Then at least make the characters like interesting enough, like as in make it so that like what you thought of the characters, what you thought of the stereotypes of these characters are like flipped around on their head. For example, like maybe the bad boy, maybe Nate, could be like he rides out in a motorcycle because of the fact that he can't afford a car, or he leaves school and it seems like it looks like he's skipping, but actually he's trying to pick up his little sister from daycare and trying to be like a responsible guardian for her, I guess, a responsible adult for her. Or like, you know, like he wears leather jackets because it was a hand-me-down from his dad and he can't really afford the school uniform or something like that, or can't afford any of the in fashion items at the moment, the trending clothes at the moment, or anything like that. Like you could have like this I guess like reveal or subversion where the characters are more than just their stereotypes, but the characters were not. And I guess that's what made reading this book kind of tedious to me, because of the fact that like they remain the same characters before as they were after. Maybe they're different, as in like maybe like Bronwyn, for example, she learns how to loosen up, and like Nate, he learns how to like protect Bronwyn. And then there's Clay. I love Clay, for real. He reads to me as like a golden retriever type, like a puppy type guy. But I was so mad the way they did him, because the thing is, again, Simon runs that whole like blog of like where he basically airs everybody's dirty laundry and tells everybody's business and whatnot, right? And one of the things that he was gonna say about Clay was the fact that Clay was gay. And I was like, now why are we using queerness as a like, oh my goodness, this is such a bad secret. Yes, don't out people. If they're not ready to be out, don't out people. But at the same time, it's just like the way that queerness is kind of like conflated with like dark secret. Oh, my deep dark secret is that I'm gay. We need to start thinking about like queerness as like, I'm making my gay debut. Maybe we could say instead, I've got a surprise for you, or something like that. Honestly, I'm changing my life, but I might change your life too, so who knows? Why are we kind of like demonizing, I guess, not being out? Like, why are we doing that? And like, I don't know, it's just one of those things where I was just kind of sitting there like, that's his secret? That's his secret? That's what was so bad that he would rather have false rumors about him using steroids? It's such a cheap shot. Like, such a low blow. Like, can you imagine if my secret, my deep dark secret, was the fact that I was not white? How shameful. I'm not white. Like, okay, you know how like stupid that sounds? Like how dumb that is? Like, all that to say, yes, I was actually highly disappointed in this book because of the way that people were like, oh my gosh, yeah, this is like a high school mystery among like people, among like the stereotypical high school students. So I thought maybe we would have gotten a subversion of those high school stereotypes and stuff like that. And I know I'm about to like raise some eyebrows when I say this, but to be honest, Okay, Riverdale. All right, hear me out, Riverdale. Season 1 wasn't perfect, but season 1 had something that I actually really liked about it, which is the fact that, like, if we were to just, like, cut season 1 out of that entire franchise, and if we were to just, like, put it in a little capsule, I feel like that would have been, like, the perfect way to, I guess, structure the show, or, like, the perfect season for the show. Like, that ended there, ended at season 1, and we're not going to talk about the rest of the 5 other seasons out there, 5-6 other seasons. But season 1 was interesting in the way that it starts off with you know, like, the death of somebody very prominent in the community, and he dies. And it also features all these, like, cast of characters that are the stereotypical high school archetypes and stuff like that. You got Archie, who's, like, the golden boy of everyone. He's always very, I don't know, like, he's, like, athletically inclined now, I guess, and he's just all American, very much like eating apple pie on a Sunday type beat. And there's who is it? Betty, who's the girl next door type of, like, high schooler. There's Jughead, who's the loner guy that's too cool for school. There's, like, Veronica. Even Veronica, she is the I guess, like, new girl, but, like, it subverts that new girlness in the way that, like, she's, like, a new girl who used to be, like, a mean girl who's trying to seek redemption, and that was interesting. And the mean girl, like, the actual mean girl, Cheryl, she's, you know, like, the mean girl, like, she's the head of cheerleading and stuff like that, right? You have all these little cast of characters that are stereotypical in their own right. They're stereotypical more like in a small town way, like small town characters and all that, right? And it bleeds into their high school life. But the thing is, you still had that subversion. It was so cookie cutter. So when they had that subversion, it was like flipping a switch, you know? It was so much better than everything that they've come up with for the later seasons, and it's such a shame, for real. But, like, for example, with Betty and her being like, yeah, no, I'm just the girl next door, yep. But then, like, you know, in season 1 you would sometimes see her, like, what is it, grip her fist so hard that she leaves, like, angry red crescents on her palm, and, like, it's her holding back, and you're just like, whoa, there's something dark there's something a little bit interesting hidden underneath that exterior of everything and stuff like that. And you see Archie, he's pretty, like, flat for the most part, but at the same time, like, you see him, he's, because of the way that he's so flat, I guess, and so impressionable, you see, like, bad people taking advantage of him, like what is it like his teacher Grundy, Miss Grundy, and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I was about to say Solomon Grundy, and that's why I tried to switch it to principal. Like, let me actually put, like, something school related in there, but no, she's just a teacher, and she is preying on him as a predator and stuff like that, and he's just, like, thinking it's love, you know? And you see that and you're like, that's dark. That's actually pretty dark for a show. Like, again, you have all these cast of characters that are so interesting in their own right because of the fact that they are so cookie cutter that whenever they reveal just a hint of darkness, just a hint of subversion, a hint of something else, something vulnerable, it makes you interested in them as characters. And so I was like, okay, we're not gonna really get a lot of mystery in this, fine. But at the very least, let's, like, do something similar to this, where you have those archetypes and stereotypes and you turn them on their heads. Did this book do that?